Hello, what's going on, everybody?
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? Hi guys,
Hi,
it's us.
it's Lamar,
It's us. It's Lamar and Angela.
Angela.
And we're live. Welcome to the first of the month live cast.
Yeah.
It's the first of the month, Lamar.
First of the month. It's the first of the month. So get something, whatever, boom, boom, boom. Write your checks, get your checks, cash your checks, something.
He almost had it, y'all. I
It's
thought
the
he
first of the month.
almost had
Get
it.
up, get up, get up.
Did y'all hear that? Oh my gosh. Lamar's singing our theme music. What?
So is Louis.
Oh, stop. Yeah. So that's interesting. Okay. So we are here. It's the first of the month. We're
Hey.
live as well. We're here as live as well as our pups who are live as well.
Yeah.
This is our
Coco.
Our munchkin Louis
Don't leave Candy
Vuitton,
alone.
who is
Coco,
clearly not a black dog.
come here.
Y'all see this? He's a puppy, so we're working on him to get him. He's a Mexican dog. These are Mexican dogs.
Mexican Yorkshire Terriers.
And they are not black.
No,
we're supposed to have this trained.
Boop, 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 boop,
See, he's still trying to kiss on the face, y'all.
Whee.
What can we do? What can we do?
Hi, Coco.
All right, listen, guys.
It's
quiet. The first of the month, and you guys have to be quiet
Coco.
because we have company.
Yes, we have company, Coco.
Welcome to our channel. If you are visiting with us for the very first time, this is our home. Make yourself comfortable.
Yes.
Relax. Enjoy, grab a beverage or a snack, crunchy, I'm thinking, crunchy. And then if you are a return visitor, y'all already know, let's get settled. Let's relax and let's get into it. Today, we are going to be discussing a topic that is very near and dear to both me and Lamar. In terms of being the sandwich generation.
Yes.
But if you are new here, please go into the comments. First of all, click that like button.
Yeah.
Click that like button because that will help the algorithm know that you want to see content like ours, because Lamar and I are expats from the United States that back in 2021, or at the end of the pandemic, really, we looked around at our life and was like,
is that it?
Is this it?
Is this all?
Get up, go to work, come home, go to bed. Get up, go to work, come home, go to bed. And then we saw so many of our peers dying prematurely, which was crazy. And we really began to struggle with the notion of what is life and life abundantly. If you are of a person of faith, you know, in John 10:10, Jesus promises us that we would have life and have it abundantly. And he means now.
Yes.
So what does that look like? So we set out to find what having an abundant life looks like for us. And for us, it meant leaving the United States.
Yes.
So we packed up everything with our dogs and our kids, and we moved from Maryland to Mexico. And we've been living our best life ever since. So we want to encourage you, if you are on a journey to try to figure out what your best life is, or just to figure out that whole abundant life thing, period, we encourage you to join our channel, subscribe to our channel, because we have content to help you do just that, to figure out what your best life is, to figure out what an abundant life means for you, and then how to go about that.
Right?
Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that you stay tuned to our channel and stay tuned for all of our upcoming videos. I know we have been derelict.
Yeah.
In getting you more and more content, because we've been out here in these streets living, y'all.
Yeah. We've been having a good time.
We have. Yes. We have. 2024 has been a very interesting, phenomenal year.
Yeah.
What wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's been a good year
For travel?
for travel. Yeah, South Africa, Portugal.
Portugal, South Africa, and then we still have a couple more trips, perhaps, maybe
Yeah.
one more trip at least
Yeah,
before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So again, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do.
yes.
Please do hit that like button so you can tell the YouTube algorithm to bring more just like this, and we'll get in tap and get you in tap to what we're doing. So, sandwich generation.
Yes, sandwich generation. What does that mean?
What does the sandwich generation mean?
Yes, what does that mean?
Sandwich generation is those generations. First of all, I'm Gen X.
I'm a boomer.
So that right there tells you that we're born between in the 60s,
In the 60s.
forward.
Yeah.
And if you are someone who is responsible, or perhaps may find the responsibility of not only having children of your own to take care of, but also having to take care of your parents. That's that sandwich generation.
Yes.
You're in between. You have both sides to have to take care of and responsibility to take care of. And we know all too well about what that meant to be a sandwich generation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
His mom, in 2015, well, his mom got sick. Yeah, all four of the parents got sick.
Yeah, well, she got sick early in the 2000s.
I think she was really the first to get sick.
And she had a host of ailments. She had lupus, scleroderma, rheumatoid arthritis, hypertension, and then pulmonary hypertension. And then she had a bum knee. Yeah.
So all of those things all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And then my dad got diagnosed with a rare form of Parkinson's disease called corticobasal degeneration. So he got sick, and all four of them at the time were all retired.
Yeah.
All of them retired. We had young, let's see, our youngest kids were still in elementary school. Elementary school. While all four of the parents were starting to come down with ailments of their own. My mom developed Parkinson's disease, like full onset, regular Parkinson's disease.
And unbeknownst to us, because my mother was the cover for my dad, he was showing early signs of dementia. So whenever he would make a mistake, she would kind of cover for that and rectify whatever he had done.
So we were dealing with all kinds of issues in terms of how our parents were relating to each other, how they were getting along, their care and well-being and things like that. It was a lot. It was a lot.
So it became quite difficult at times. You know, and then as my mother's health started to decline, it was obvious that, you know, her time was coming to an end. And she ended up going into hospice in May of 2015, May of 2015. And within, I'd say,
by a month later,
she was gone. So, and then after that, my dad, since she wasn't there, started making mistakes, having accidents,
getting missing,
and all kinds of things like that, where she would have been able to help with those situations. So we ended up having to find a nursing home for him, a place where he would get the care, because it was a lot to take care of him, because we had to take his car keys away from him.
And then by 2015, we not only had kids in elementary school, but we had one in college. So we were definitely living that sandwich generation in terms of having to cope with taking care of elderly parents and also taking care of our younger kids, things like that. We moved from the northern part of Maryland back home down to
be closer
to the Washington, D.C. area, so that we could manage that, because at the time it was starting to be cumbersome having to adjust to, or having to keep up with job or doctor's appointments for this one on this day, and then a
Right.
follow-up appointment for that, and then get the medicine, make sure persons are taking their medicines, what's going on with their medicines. Are they had to have follow-up x-rays, things like that. So it was really a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah. To watch your parents decline like that.
Right.
But also having to be their caretakers, to be the ones now taking care of them like they took care of you when you were a child.
Right.
And that was difficult, watching that happen in real time. And it definitely took a toll sometimes, because running back and forth, because as my wife said, we were in the northern part of Maryland, and it was 65, 70 miles one way back down to our parents' location down in Maryland.
One way.
And, helping out with doctor's appointments, things like that.
And then trying to make sure you're back on the road, back up in the northern part of the state, to be back home in time to get the kids from school.
Right.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot.
Quite a bit.
So we did move back to the DC area so that we could be closer, just to manage the care for all four of our parents at the time, because it was a lot.
Yes.
And I think in terms of talking about the sandwich generation and talking about issues that affect us in our generation, you really have to be aware of the feelings that kind of emerge. So can you call it that?
Yeah.
The guilt on some respects, the resentment. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
The stress of it all.
Right.
Right.
It's quite stressful. It was an incident with my mom where I went down to take care of some issues with her, and she had to go to the bathroom, and I heard her in there crying and out loud saying, "I don't want to die."
Yeah.
And things like that during those times, it's really difficult to hear.
Right.
And my dad, he actually died during the pandemic, but not because of COVID.
Right.
I believe my dad passed away because of loneliness, because at the beginning of 2020, they shut down the nursing homes for access because of the pandemic, because of the virus.
Right.
And we were coming fairly regularly on weekends and things like that. And he, even in his state of mind with dementia, he knew that we were coming. He started to get lonely. He stopped eating. He stopped drinking, because he became depressed.
Right.
So he even told me one time when we went to visit him, that while I asked him a question, he says, "Hold on, let me think about it." He says, "Because I know the answer's in here, I just need to find it."
Right.
And to have dementia like that, to be in that kind of situation where you're kind of lost within yourself, and then for me on the outside watching that, it's quite difficult.
Let's talk about that, because that is something that has to be dealt with. When in terms of being a part of the sandwich generation, seeing your parents decline. Now, if you're lucky, your parents will be in great health and will be able to thrive and get around and all those kinds of things, and be able to enjoy life and visits with all those kinds of, with everything that goes with that. But there are occasions, and there unfortunately are circumstances where you have parents who are sick, who are declining, who may have special needs. We had to navigate those types of things, learning how to look for a nursing home, and when to pull the trigger on assisted living, when to take the car keys, when to, when to move them out of their independent living situation and perhaps into a assisted living or into a nursing home.
Or into your own home.
Or into your own home. Who's paying for that? How are we taking care of all of that? It is a lot.
Yeah, and it's it's reversal of its Freaky Friday kind of deal where you become sort of the
You become the
parent.
Yeah, for
And
sure. For
so
sure.
you're, taken to doctor's appointments and making sure medicine is taken care of and cleaning up any messes that occur that may happen, all sorts of things. So I remember when my aunt went through this with my grandmother,
Mhm.
and one of the things that she talked about was, I need a break.
Yeah.
So you also need someone, because it's a kind of almost like a full-time job, taking care of someone in those conditions, and you need a break. Sometimes you need to be able to take a vacation,
For sure.
go to a movie at least,
Yeah.
go out with your friends.
And then can we talk about the concept of help when you have siblings who may not be helping?
Yes.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
that
because
too.
there are some siblings that may be out there that don't even lift a finger, don't give and it's exhausting, because I know that my aunt felt like that, but it there are siblings out there that just don't care.
Yeah. Or who may not live in the same state, who may not live in the same country, who may be abroad, or who may have things of their own, personal issues of their own, or responsibility issues of their own that may make them not the candidate to possibly take care of mom and or dad.
Right.
So those things have to be navigated. There's a lot when thinking about becoming or being a part of the sandwich generation like we are. Yeah, that you have to take into consideration on top of regular parenting and adulting.
Right. Exactly. Resolving kid issues, going up to the school, going to assemblies and
soccer games,
and
basketball games, parent teacher conferences, school, science fair projects, and
right. That last minute always. I need construction paper. When's the project due? Tomorrow. No.
I need poster board.
Yes, and that happened.
Well, how long have you known? For months. When is it due? Tonight. What? What?
Right. So yeah, it really became it was exhausting.
Yeah.
Sad. And for my dad, since he when he died alone.
Yeah. Right.
And
and you said
and parents whose kids don't take care of them and leave them in their situation.
Yeah, right.
That don't take care of them, that leave them in their independent, and I saw that with neighbors across the street from my parents. When a friend of mine's mother started showing signs of dementia, and they left her in the house for a long period of time before they actually removed her. Being in the sandwich generation, being in between, or as friends of ours, and other people we've seen, it's not just a sandwich, but it's a double-decker sandwich.
A double-decker sandwich, because you may have your mom and dad or dad, you have your children.
Right.
And then you might have to also be taking care of some grandkids.
So
that's not sandwich. That's a Dagwood. We're telling our age.
Yeah. That's a Dagwood. So it's a
double-decker sandwich.
I couldn't see doing that. I mean, that would be putting it in another gear to really. I couldn't even imagine having to do that.
Take care of grandkids on top of kids,
right?
On top of parents. And it can be difficult because when we once we moved back to the DC area, really just to be back so that we could live closer, so that we could be able to get people to appointments and things like that, to be able to manage all four parents being sick at the same time. We began to notice that with my mother in particular, she was having some real strong issues that was like, wait a minute.
So she started not only with the Parkinson's, but she also started showing signs of dementia.
Right. But it was really kind of some little small gradual things that we kind of started picking up. And we lived right around the corner. She had an apartment that was right around the corner from our house. So I was able to get back and forth to take care of her, all while I was homeschooling our 2 younger kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that process really began to, as we had eyes on her, be able to actually put eyes on her. I'm really starting to see some things that, wait a minute, what's going on with your movement? What's happening with your medication? Are you taking your medication on time? What's going on with your blood pressure? Your blood pressure is spiking. You have diabetes now.
Right.
What's going on with that? You know,
Right.
all those kinds of things. And so I really needed to put eyes on her. But what was telling for me, and my mother was a fiercely independent woman.
Yeah.
But what was telling for me was when we were considering moving her out of her apartment into some assisted living, because it seemed like she definitely needed some help, maybe not necessarily be in a full-blown nursing home, but definitely needed some assisted living. But when she said to me and turned to me, "Can I come stay with you?" I was like, whoa,
Right.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
There is something that she knows that there's a problem. And I think I think by that time she hadn't quite been diagnosed. She hadn't been diagnosed with Parkinson's. They didn't know what was going on with her.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure it out. And then, but when she said that, that was to me the cry for help, like something is really wrong, because my mother would have never given up her independence like that to say, I want to come live with you guys. So then we closed out her apartment and moved her in with us, and I became her full-time caregiver.
And I took some of that, but I actually in some ways felt kind of guilty in a way, because I was going to work and being at work all day, and then you're there with the kids homeschooling, and then coming home, and sometimes I would come home and your mom would have gotten into some kind of mess, some kind of way, having to, fix that as soon as I came home. So I barely was able to put my stuff down and get downstairs and help out with her.
Having to lift her, clean bedpans, change diapers, things like that. It is a lot being a full-time caregiver to your parent.
Yeah.
And it can bring about a lot of feelings of, I could see where someone could feel feelings of resentment, like, I got to do this. I got to give up my career in order to come and be taking care of not only the kids, but to be taking care of my mom or taking care of my dad, things like that.
I couldn't imagine if someone is a single parent and having to do that without the help that they need, the teamwork thing where you have a spouse helping you out
that was helpful.
Because I don't know how somebody,
but caregiving that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no break, no vacation work or what have you. Now, I will also say that time period for me was a sacred time period. And I would not, even though it was very, very, very difficult, I would not trade that for the world. I really would not, because I was able to honor my mother in a way that I would not have felt comfortable handing that off to someone who didn't care about her. You know what I mean?
And the thing about it is, the hard thing is for my mom, it was short, from the time that she went and was not doing well, because she stayed, but she stayed at home, and she forced the issue of staying at home. She didn't want to go anywhere. And then it became difficult. And
because even when she would come to visit, we had to make sure we ordered her concentrator machine.
So all the supplies and making sure those things were set up. She couldn't climb up and down steps, so we had to have a sleeping area in our living room set up. Make sure. Now, once she got there, she was fine. As long as she had the concentrated oxygen and things like that. She was in the kitchen. She would also tell us, make sure you go. She'd give us a list of groceries to get. So because she would plan out the meals and start cooking when she got there.
And Lamar's mother could burn, so I was always yes, mother's coming. Yes, because she's about to throw down in the kitchen.
Yeah. So, but those things had to be taken care of. And I had sometimes drive to pick up the concentrator,
Right.
go and pick it up, return it.
Making sure she had all of her medicines on deck to.
It just reminded me, I remember the people at the place when I brought, actually, she had a concentrator and I returned it. And she said, "Do you want to get another one?" And I said, "No, we won't need it anymore." She says, and then she stopped.
Oh.
And she stopped mid-track. She says, "Your mother's gone?" And I said, "Yes, she passed."
Yeah.
So, she had such a relationship with the people. She would call, make her payments and things like that, that when I brought the concentrator back,
they knew.
They knew.
They knew what was up.
Yeah. So, I mean, those times are difficult for anyone,
Mm-hmm.
However, it's double and then sometimes triple difficult when you either have children, grandchildren.
Ooh.
So that's the sandwich generation, and we have been a part of that. And I'm sure our kids will get there at some point in time when they have to take care of us.
Man, listen, I'm trying to stay in good health.
Yeah.
Because these kids taking care of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
oh no. Oh,
yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Because they're. I mean, for me as a boomer,
right.
I mean, I don't know how to describe the fact that we are tough kids. We had to do certain things growing up that these kids, and so
boomers and Gen X, put a heart in the comments if you are a boomer or Gen X. Because they don't know.
Yeah, they don't.
They ain't built Ram tough.
No,
they're not.
No,
they can't. They can't. Listen, man. Listen, we drank out of water hoses in the yard, man.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Oh yeah.
We stayed outside all day. Okay.
All day.
All day. Didn't come out.
No
sun.
You see this complexion? I was darker than my wife most times. Coming back in, I stayed up from sunup to sundown.
That's right.
And the only time my mom saw me was when I came home to eat lunch and then go back down to the playground.
That's right. And you better not be coming in and out of the house.
Right.
Letting out my good air.
Right.
In and out. In and out. No, pick one. Stay in or out. Hello.
Right.
We have this.
So we're built differently.
That's right.
I push and it's a thing of, this is tough. Okay, I gotta dig deep. I gotta dig real deep, and I go further.
Right.
And these kids don't have it.
They don't have it. They don't know. They don't know. I don't know. So I don't know about them being sandwich generation to us.
Yeah. So
they'll fold like an accordion.
Yeah.
But it really is an issue for expats and can be a broader dimension.
Yes.
Take on a broader dimension of complication when you are not living abroad. Or let's even just talk about that. If your parents were in the position to be of good health and all that kind of thing, do you think that we would have left the States?
I don't know. I mean, I know your dad and your stepmom probably would have left because they travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had never been out of the country.
Right.
I think the only time your mom had been out the country is to go to your sister's wedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
For my dad, the only time he had been out of the country is when he went to Korea. So, and that was on a boat.
Right.
I don't know, because our wedding, we wanted to do a destination wedding.
We did.
And he was like, no, he paid for now. In order for that, for him
I was salty with your father too, because everybody was on deck for the destination wedding.
Yeah. But
my dad's family is from the Bahamas, and I was like, okay, let's have it in the Bahamas. I was like, oh, this is going to be beautiful. And if anybody in our core group, our core circle did not want to have a destination wedding, we were like, everybody has to, at least our core has to be on board. And everybody was on board, except his dad.
And he said, I don't want to do that, but he paid for our wedding.
He paid for the reception.
He paid for the reception, which is the big part.
Yeah.
He paid for the reception.
So we were like,
yeah.
But it was a beautiful wedding, nonetheless.
Yeah.
A very beautiful wedding.
So, I mean, I think my mom, because Ben and Gabby would have been coming, and Vanessa,
Mm-hmm.
she would have been like, okay, well, I guess I just have to leave Bill here.
Well, yeah. Well, we would have kidnapped your mom.
Yeah.
Just straight up. I
Yeah,
would have taken
she
your
would
mom.
she would have left my dad. Although I don't know if he would have survived very long like that without her. Because I mean, they had been married 50 when she passed. It was 50, 58. When did we have that?
We had that. They had been married for 50
50
years
years.
in 2008.
Right. So 57 years they've been married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's a forever.
Yeah. So I don't think that he probably would have said, if y'all going, I'm going.
Right.
But that's not how the cards were dealt. This
Right.
is not what happened.
But we actually did for my mom at one point in time. I did look into and research living abroad with her with us.
Yeah.
I crunched some numbers and was like, you know what? If we were to try to have a caregiver actually come in,
Mm-hmm.
given the ratio of the dollar to peso, or
Right.
I think I was looking at the Dominican Republic at the time, and just looking at the disparity of between, or the difference between the two.
Right.
I was like, well, wait a minute. We might even be able to make this math,
Right.
so that we could be able to have someone or hire someone to be here to help with the cooking or the cleaning and the care of my mother. That might, that actually might work, or what have you. I don't think my mom would have come though.
Yeah. Got a couple of comments.
We got
there.
a couple of comments. Oh, we do. We have our good friend Rashida.
Hi, Rashida.
Hi, Rashida. Hi.
What's going on?
Hi, girl. Hey. That also reminds me at this point, I want to give a shout out to the Exodus Summit for just being the vehicle that got us on board in the first place.
Yeah.
If you have never heard of the Exodus Summit, I encourage you to check out the Exodus Summit. The link is in the description of this video, and it will also be on our website as well, and in our social media as well. Because listen, this was the thing that really helped us make the transition to moving abroad. The first Exodus Summit I attended, the very first one back in 2020, that kind of just gave me the concept altogether that there is a different way that I can actually, we could actually have this abundant life that we've been dreaming about? What? There are people out here living.
Yeah.
There are people out here living. And so that was the first Exodus Summit. That next Exodus Summit was the one that helped us put actual plan in place, have accountability partners in place, have a community in place that helped us. All right, well, let's try to figure out how to do this, how to do the estate sale, how to do, all those kinds of aspects to make this downsize work, to sell off stuff, to get rid of stuff, to all that kind of thing, to let go, so that we could get a plan in place and leave. And so by Exodus Summit 2022, we were already out and in Mexico.
Right.
And so the Exodus 2022 Summit focused on how to keep that money and how to make that money to make it happen. And we even attended last year's summit too, which was a blessing. So each and every year, it's been an amazing experience. So I encourage you, if you have not yet joined the Exodus Summit community, I encourage you to join this. Click the link below. Sign up for the Exodus Summit conference. It's a virtual conference. It's going to be next weekend, starting next weekend. So you can still get tickets. And we want to make sure that you do that because, man, listen, it will change
your life.
Your life.
Yeah. I all I knew is that you kept talking about it. I was like, who are these ladies? Who
they is?
Who are these people? And as I got to listen and learn, and then recently in the last couple of years meet and Stephanie Perry, Rashida, Adelia,
Adelia, all of our
all
friends.
you know, Rick, Halisi,
Rick, Alicia of our Black
Utopia. So it's made a big and it. I've grown so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've grown so much. So in that growth, if my mom and my dad were still living, I would have been better equipped. I definitely been equipped to help them make that transition
Mm,
from the United States to Mexico.
right. But you
And
know what? The interesting thing about the Exodus Summit, it's not just, it's not one set age group. You've got young people in there, you know, people who are in their 20s, fresh out of college or so, just trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, maybe want to travel, maybe want to take a gap year, those type of people. You got people who are in the thick of it, in the right in that sandwich generation. And then you got people who are retirees who are out here in these streets living up their life.
yeah,
You know, so it's a community for everybody to find your place and to figure out your way and to get the tools and the help that you need in order to make that happen. So I highly, 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 highly recommend the Exodus Summit as a launching point. If you have never considered it or considered moving abroad or just really just questioned how to have the life that you really want,
yeah,
check that out.
Yeah,
So just wanted to give
absolutely.
a plug
Yes.
for
Well, it's a
the
great,
Exodus
it's
Summit.
a great organization. It's a great group of ladies
It is.
that
It
are
is.
very helpful. That will, I think that they would give you the shirt off their back in many cases.
Well, I know I definitely would. And Lamar's and I don't know, are you kind of honorary?
Honoring, because the Exodus Summit is actually comprised of
Black women.
And I think that
But there's some men who support the Black women.
yeah, and it was built on the fact of a sabbatical.
Yes.
For women, because Black women have been traditionally the caretakers and not taking a break for themselves,
Yes,
and
Lord.
they need that type of break and that kind of release and
Yes, Lord.
relief to be able to experience life. I'd hate to be one of these people, and I'm glad I'm not. That as we talked about earlier, to get up, go to work, come home, go to bed,
Mhm.
get up, come home, go to work, go to bed, get up, go to work, die at work.
Yeah, right.
And that happened.
And that has happened.
That has happened. People, ambulance comes and the person goes and they're like, okay, where's the dude with the Hawaiian flower shirt? He died last week. He had a heart attack here. And that actually happened. I was like, wow, that's no,
Sucks.
I can't. I can't go out like that.
Right.
So I want to have some fun. And I think that if your parents are in good health, getting out, shaking the tail feather, this kind of thing,
Shaking the tail feather.
Have
Not
that
shaking the tail
conversation, with them to help them live their best life.
Yeah.
And even it's at the others on the other side of that slope,
Mhm.
they've climbed the mountaintop and they're going down the hill. Have some fun while they're going down that hill.
Yeah.
Different foods, different places, warm climate.
Now that I know my mom, she would have fussed about, but she might have begrudgingly enjoyed, because in what year was that? 2020, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was that 2017 or 2018? I can't remember which one. We went to, we forced our mom. Yeah, it was 2017. We forced my mom to go on vacation with us. At that point in time, she was experiencing Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm.
She had been diagnosed. She was walking with a cane and sometimes a walker. She was kind of hesitant because it was hard for her to get to the bathroom on time. So she had to wear diapers and things like that. And she just was like, I don't know if to travel. I don't know if I want to. And I made her come with us on vacation with the kids to.
That was the eclipse.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw the eclipse down there.
Yes. And we rented a beach house and just had a family vacation all together. And that was, I look back at those pictures, like those were some really good memories.
Mhm.
And she got to see the ocean because she had never seen the ocean. She had never been to the ocean in all those years, had never been to the ocean. So I have a picture of her with her little sun hat on, and she's sitting under the umbrella, and she's, you know, just sitting looking at the ocean, just kind of like, wow, wow, you know, that kind of thing. And I would have loved for her to have the experience of seeing the sun come up over the mountains that we get to see every morning, and or tasting some of the foods that we've been trying and things like that. I would have loved for her to have that experience. So, you know, it is what it is.
But for those out there who their parents are with you that are doing well,
consider that a blessing.
Yes, a blessing.
Don't take that for granted.
And
honestly,
don't let that, you know, if your children are getting to the point where they are able to basically, not small children, but take care of themselves. If they're teenagers in high school, now we came here with 2 teenagers in high school.
Right. But there are other people who have come there with their smaller elementary school aged children.
Right.
Now, I you know what? If there's anything that I would, first of all, I wouldn't trade our experience, even as difficult as it was sometimes and as painful to watch both your mom decline and die, then my dad decline and die, then my mom decline and die, and then your dad, you know, just to watch all that happening. I was painful, yet, you know, difficult and all those kinds of things. I still would not trade any of that.
Right.
But having said that, I wish that we could have brought the kids when they were elementary school age, because the kids that I meet, the expats that have their kids here, that these kids are thriving.
Yes,
and they are learning, becoming bilingual, and they are just integrating into the culture here in Mexico, and they are just having all kinds of fun, and that's kind of a perspective of living that I wish our kids had been exposed to at a younger age. Even though we traveled a great deal with our kids.
Yes,
they had passports that were well tatted.
Yes.
You know. So it wasn't like our kids weren't in these international streets, but I just wish they would have had more of a perspective to see life in a more global sense. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I hope that for many kids, if the parents are able to travel, take them places, experience different cultures, different climates, different scenery,
right?
Just have all kinds of different experiences. I think it changes a child's perspective on things, their vision. Yeah, it may inspire them to do other things.
Yeah. Just to see life in a different way.
Yeah.
I noticed that of some of the other kids, especially in Europe, they have more of it's not a big thing. People in Europe in general have more, it's no big thing to speak different languages.
Right.
It's
because they're close together. You know, you're in Portugal and you're in Spain. You have to learn the language. You know, and
you might pick up Portuguese. You'll know Portuguese, but you might also pick up Spanish, and you might also pick up English, and you might also pick up French, or you're right there, right nearby. So these are languages that you might come in contact with, and it's nothing. It's not a big deal.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And I wish our kids would have had more of a global perspective.
Sure.
On life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk about the sandwich generation from the kids' standpoint. Because I really do. I remember having mom in the house, and one afternoon we were I asked my mom to make some biscuits. My mom used to make, when she was younger, really good biscuits. My grandmother was a baker. She cooked from scratch, and it was one of the great things that my mom used to make was biscuits. And so I was asking my mom, will you teach us how to make biscuits? And so she was in the kitchen, and I could tell that was this is at the point where her Parkinson's is starting to show up in different ways. And she lost steam in the middle of the biscuit making endeavor. And the biscuits didn't quite come out like I remember them. They were better back in the day. She kind of lost her ability to knead the dough and all that kind of stuff. But just having her spending time with her grandkids and all of us being in the house together, watching TV together or eating dinner, all of us as a family together was I mean, there was nothing better than that.
Yeah, I think that also that the fallout from this is, as things change.
Yeah, true.
As matriarchs, patriarchs pass on.
Right.
We've seen it with our children where they have an expectation, or they want to recreate or relive or have the same. So one of the things that, as a sandwich generation parent, is also in helping the children navigate change.
Ooh, change and death.
Yeah, change and death, because change from different situations, like the holiday dinners, having 20, 25 people at the house, to not having that anymore. I noticed it if I step into my mom's side of the family and the family reunion. It doesn't happen anymore because the people that actually held that up are gone.
Right.
And so, but change is inevitable in life.
Yeah.
And helping your children to navigate change and to deal with those changes in life is important.
Right.
And not allow them to be pulled down by that, but be able to find other joys in life, or find the joy in that.
Right. Right.
It's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
But we do have to guide them.
But that was one of the things that I loved about, and still love about, the Mexican culture here, is they tend to value. One of the things that made me fall in love was the way that they value children and the way that they value their elderly. Yeah. And it was really nice to see, as you go into the grocery store, they have a line just for the elderly, and they just really took care. I remember once when we were, just kind of out and about one afternoon, and saw this woman who was walking her elderly mother. And it was the middle of the day. She was taking her mom for a walk in the middle, and just, they were holding hands and just kind of walking.
And she'd take it slow. They're taking it slow.
And I thought that was a one-off, but
it happens all the time.
We
see it all the time.
I was like, wow, they really take care of their elderly here. It's kind of like, in talking with some of our Mexican friends, it's kind of like, we don't put our elderly in a nursing home. We put they come home and be in our home, that type of thing. And I just thought that was a valuing of family.
But there's a difference in the culture, important. And there's also a difference in the economy.
That's true.
Because
you can't afford to put nobody in a nursing home. That's true.
Because with medication being so high, and how they operate nursing homes in the United States,
right,
where if you have any assets, they want to use that towards the nursing home expenses, and before they put them on, is it Medicaid or Medicare?
Child. Until
they start covering it. And for me, that is really sad that they handle it that way.
Yeah. The fact that a lot of retirees are experiencing, living kind of near poverty because of the high expense of medication and healthcare and all those kinds of things. And your retirement can be quickly eaten up by a catastrophic visit, cancer, or, any kind of terrible, a stroke.
Right.
Things like that. I just had a friend, one of my really good friends, just had his 5th stroke.
Yeah.
And he's your age.
This is what pushed me.
Stroke number 5.
And I was seeing this. So this is what really, the work burnout, the seeing friends becoming sick. And I'm 62 years old. I don't consider that old. And just seeing
You look good, baby.
just just seeing the recent deaths, the in celebrity,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that are young that are dying. It's like, oh my goodness,
Another puppy.
another puppy, but this is the old puppy. This is Candy. This is Candy. For whatever
Hi,
reason, she's
Kane.
being real needy right now.
Right. She was like, the younger ones got to be on camera. I'm going to take my screen time too.
Yeah.
Aren't you too?
Candy cane. Yeah. So it's,
Yeah.
just seeing those things happen,
Mm-hmm.
it says to me, listen, I need to make the best of the time that I have here. And if you have your parents who are in pretty good health, help bring them along for the ride to, make their last days, because no one is immortal in this, life, and make it so that they have a good time as well.
But let's talk about that, because that's something that if you are planning your exodus and you are planning to make a leap, and you have elderly parents who are still alive and maybe in various states of health or decline, or perhaps sometimes that is something that you have to take advantage of or take into consideration, and then make your plan accordingly. I would not limit myself to just say I can't go at all. I would consider how can we make this happen? How can I? It's beautiful that they're right here where we live in Mexico. There's a young lady who has her mom here with her.
Yeah.
She brought her. I think their the husband has passed, and she wanted to live abroad, and the mother was like, "You ain't leaving without me. Come on."
Right.
And so they're here together, which is so neat. And they are in these streets.
Yes.
Also.
Oh yeah. Mama running these streets.
Yes, she is. She is having a good time.
Yeah, she's having a good time.
But that's so beautiful to me, because I would have loved for our parents to be able to have that experience too, and not be left on the sidelines,
Yeah.
And then also to consider healthcare is less
expensive here.
It is less expensive. And we have had some really good healthcare while we've been here living in Mexico. I've probably had some of the best healthcare that I've had.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty much.
For sure.
Really good healthcare, really good dental care, really good, and this is the 1st of the month. This is the 1st of October. So this is a reminder to get your mammograms and to have your...
Yes. I don't have a pink shirt. I would have worn a pink shirt, and I don't do pink, but, by this...
I don't do pink either, but...
Yeah, well, we know why, because of that.
But it's still important to get your mammograms. And if you have not, go to canivote.org to check your status. As if you are already living abroad, or even if you're not living abroad and you're in the United States, check canivote.org. Canivote.org, because you need to make sure that you are registered to vote. If you're not registered to vote, there are links on that website that will allow you to be able to register. You still got some time, but you better hurry up.
Yes.
Time is a clicking and ticking.
Yes.
So if you have not yet registered, please, this election is critical and important. Make sure you go to canivote.org to check your status, because Lamar and I vote every election. We have never missed an election. And even in Maryland, they had us off the rolls as inactive.
Right.
So some shenanigans has been afoot.
Yes.
So we had to make sure, why are y'all taking us off? Oh, well, y'all, I guess they figure, oh, well, y'all live overseas. Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. No, send us our absentee ballots, please, and thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So that we can take part of this election, because it's so important.
It's very important.
It is very important. So
yes, absolutely.
That's enough of my rant.
Okay. So again, being part of the sandwich generation is not a horrible thing, but it's important. You need to get the tools that you need to be able to navigate all of this, to have help. to have someone there to support you, husband, wife, spouse.
Yeah.
And but however, if you can, don't let that trip you up from taking your sabbatical,
Mm-hmm.
to taking vacations, to even making your plans to move abroad, to
Right.
move to another country.
And don't let that trip you up to not include them as a part of your plan.
Right.
Talk to them. Some parents don't want to come. Some parents are set in their ways and they don't want to come and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. You might also need to have that conversation with siblings.
Yes.
To be like, yo, we're about to move to Portugal, to Georgia, to Kosovo.
Right. Right.
We're about to move to Colombia, and you're going to have to step up and start helping to take care of mom, or start
Right.
taking care of dad, or to check in, or just have some sort of mechanism. Maybe if you have elderly parents where grandkids are
Yes.
already grown,
Yes.
that they might be able to step in and have a network there, or a family network that might be able to fill in the gap, or take some of the load that might fall on you if you weren't the designated sandwicher.
Yeah.
The designated sandwich maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this baby right here.
Right.
Yes. I'm gonna have to put her down because
She's heavy.
She's heavy, and she just
are heavy.
She wants, oh my goodness, scratches, and I've got hairs.
And you getting dog fur all over my stuff. No,
Girl.
no.
Girl.
But listen, we have really had I have, let me just speak for myself. I'll speak for myself. The experience of being in the sandwich generation, in terms of taking care of parents, was one that I felt an honor and a duty for.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I felt it because I have a caretaker kind of spirit anyway. And being in ministry and as a former pastor, you see a lot of death, you see a lot of kind of family situations like that. And so you walk them through the transition and those circle of life, to not be corny with the Lion King reference, but it really is the circle of life. And so it was, to me, an honor to be able to see my mother as she transitioned.
It's as parents, it's the same. It's a labor of love.
Mm-hmm.
Even sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's you want to, and then there are times when it's like, I'm sitting here talking to my mom, and we've talked about it before. I wish that I could sit and talk to my mom or my dad.
Oh yeah.
And glean some more wisdom, some more knowledge from them.
Yeah.
To get their perspective on raising kids and dealing with adult situations. And my mother was very much a praying woman. To have her in the house praying and
it was one of the best. The pictures of our kids being able to sit when your mom would come and stay and visit with us.
Yeah.
And she'd sit and read the Bible to them, or they would sit and watch The Price is Right. Or those are memories that my kids
they talk about it all the time.
Those are memories that they cherish.
Yes.
Or what have you. So to say all of that, we say all of that as the sandwich generation. It has its challenges, most definitely. It has it's fraught with financial concerns and financial worries and time and space and worries and how you can make it work, or what have you. But it also can be a blessing in some other ways.
Yeah.
So I would say my advice would be to not necessarily shy away from that, but to definitely not be afraid to make that a part of your exit plan.
Right. Yeah.
Bring the kids and bring mama and dad too.
Bring grandma and grandpa.
It might help them
Yeah, and the thing about it, just like bringing two puppies into the fold here has given Candy new life.
Oh yeah.
Bringing your parents to a new area where the weather's less cold, the food is not fraught with preservatives, things like that.
May preserve and extend their life.
Yeah, and give them energy and give them a boost that will, inspire them to say, hey, what else? Or can we go downtown? Can we go here? Can we, you know, because I know that just for me, and we've talked about it before, I've lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So, and without trying.
Yes.
So, and from a health standpoint, I think that for elderly parents who can get care in other countries, and just remember this, that there are medications that are available in other countries that are beneficial for different things like arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, high blood pressure, things like that. And they may even not have to take those medications. And we just found out through the healthcare that we get here, we're seeing a chiropractor and finding out that people have been cured of diabetes.
Oh, right.
Just from going to a chiropractor, because your communications of nerves being restricted by compression in your vertebrae and things like that.
We're a big fan of chiropractic care.
It definitely, I didn't know these things. I mean, every time we get adjusted, Angie always talks about the fact that, her nose opens up. And a lot of people say that they can breathe better. So
breathe better, sleep better.
Yes.
Yeah, all those types
headaches
of
are gone, things like that. So
yeah.
it could make a huge difference in your parents' lives.
Right.
So, it's something to think about when making your plan to, move abroad to bring your parents along.
I wouldn't necessarily assume that the United States has the best healthcare, because other countries do have excellent quality healthcare.
Yes.
And I would consider that as a part of, or a reason to maybe bring mom and dad, or mom or dad along with.
Yeah. So we're coming up on time.
Yep. We always try to punch it after an hour. We try not to keep y'all here all day and every day, but we always are back here on the first of the month. Yep. It's the first of the month.
We already did that.
Yes, we did. We did. So listen again, if you have enjoyed our conversation, make sure that you press the like button.
Subscribe.
Give us a thumbs up.
Subscribe.
Please. Give us a thumbs up. Yep. Subscribe to our channel. And we will join you back here again for our live for the first of the month.
Yep. Take care. See ya. Bye.
Bye, guys.